What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Taj NBA. And today we're going to be welcoming back one of the league's very best players, Kawhi Leonard. I did get a comment on my video talking about how Kawhi Leonard's return to the league will affect the league. And, I waited a day, but it makes total sense because we just, received news that this guy would be playing for the first time since tragically injuring his since Zaza Pachulia tragically injured him to keep him out of the playoffs last year, to pretty much completely destroy any hope of the Spurs winning even a single game against the Golden State Warriors in that playoff series. And Kawhi Leonard, a guy who I've talked about, I said that, as of last year, I said that he was the second best player in the league. I think he's better than Kevin Durant. The only reason Kevin Durant is able to be on this stage where he's winning the finals and being the finals MVP is because of the team around him. He can't do any of that without going to the Golden State Warriors, whereas Kawhi Leonard can get into the conference finals, play against Kevin Durant, destroy him, and do it so bad that he needs to be injured by Zaza Pachulia in order for the Warriors to win that game and then that series. And of course, you see without him how much of a chance the Spurs had. They got destroyed in that series because Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing. This is a guy that has so little of a weakness on the basketball floor and is an absolute killer in the clutch. He's extremely efficient. He's one of these guys that just makes huge plays on both ends of the floor. He is a juggernaut on the defensive end. He's so good on defense that teams have to avoid him on offense, which is so weird. You don't see it. You see all these defensive players make big plays. You see them guard the best players in the other team, but a lot of the teams in the league that they play more of a team style. They don't really have a one ISO star player. They don't go toward the guy that Kawhi Leonard is guarding a lot of the time, and they try as hard as they can to take him out of the game from a defensive standpoint, which is just wild. It's like you don't hear about that in today's NBA, but that's how much of an impact this guy has made and how much of a name for himself he's made on that end of the floor. So Kawhi Leonard, he's back. He's on a minutes restriction in his first game back against the Dallas Mavericks, and it's the Spurs against the Dallas Mavericks. I'm sure that they shouldn't have too much trouble with that game. But the San Antonio Spurs this season, again, just like every other year, are easily the most slept-on team in basketball. It happens every single year, and even without Kawhi Leonard this year, they're able to have a 19-8 record. And a lot of people I know are going to be looking at that and being like, okay, so how valuable really is Kawhi Leonard if his team can go 19-8 without him? Look, here's the thing. Here's the difference Kawhi Leonard makes to this team. The San Antonio Spurs without Kawhi Leonard are already a good team, and the reason for that is because they have some great role players, they have a great team system, and they have a legendary head coach, Greg Popovich, and the way they play offense and defense, they're able to get the jump on a lot of teams that aren't as good, teams that aren't as fundamentally sound. However, if you've seen this year, this is not a Spurs team that is very good against the very top teams. I mean, the teams that are better than them or as good as them, they have struggled against. It's just they are so good at beating every team that is, a lot worse than them that it really hasn't mattered because they've been so good at getting wins that they should be getting. But you look at their point differential, it's less than 4, and you just look at the teams that they've beaten and not beaten, and you see that, this is a team that is fundamentally sound. It will take care of business against bad teams. However, without Kawhi Leonard, they don't have a shot at beating a team like the Warriors or the Rockets or, some of their other Western Conference foes in the playoffs. And the reason for that is because they don't have the talent there to continuously beat really good teams. However, adding Kawhi Leonard back puts them over the top. It really makes them a championship contender. He is the guy that leads this team, that makes life easier for so many people on this team. And you better believe that with Kawhi Leonard, this team actually has a chance of beating some of those top teams. You saw them last year. They dismantled the Houston Rockets after a huge season for the Rockets that year. The Spurs put an end to that. They got to the Western Conference Finals. Should have stole a game at home or in Oracle. But of course, we all know Zaza Pachulia ended the Spurs season on the spot. And also, you know, if you saw Kawhi Leonard in that series against Memphis, the way he was playing against Memphis, and a lot of people look at Memphis now, they're like, okay, well, what is Memphis doing these days? The Memphis Grizzlies are literally 8-19. They have the second worst record in the West, but you guys should have seen the way they were playing in the playoffs last year. This was a fierce team. They were looking so good, but Kawhi Leonard was just incredible in that series. He was incredible against the Rockets. His percentages were through the roof, and then midway through an incredible game again in Golden State, it happens, season over, and it's such a tragic and heartbreaking way to end a season for anybody in sports, losing your best player, your MVP of your team to something like that. Kawhi Leonard, he had a remarkable year last year, and he's back now with, you know, a 19-8 team that, like I said, yes, this team is playing probably at their very best that they can. I don't think that this team is talented enough to beat teams like the Warriors and the Rockets regularly. However, with Kawhi Leonard, they will definitely have a much, much better chance of doing that. And the reason why I think Kawhi Leonard's return is such a big deal is because of how good the Spurs already are. I said it, you know, that they're playing the best they could be playing. I know that they can't really beat those really top tier teams right now. However, you know, they have a LaMarcus Aldridge at this moment that is playing so much better than he's ever played in a Spurs uniform, and they're getting Kawhi Leonard back. Kawhi Leonard also a guy that he's gotten better every single year. Hopefully his injury doesn't get in the way of that and kind of stunt his player development and, you know, not let him keep going higher and higher. We'll see. He was such a monster before that it's kind of hard to imagine him being better than that, but he's still very young. I mean, he could still make, you know, some jumps and get even better than where he was last year, which would be absolutely nuts. But to be honest, I think that Kawhi Leonard coming back is so good for the league and the Spurs organization. They're staying relevant as always, but they're not really talked about right now because even though they're 19-8, they're not being taken that seriously because we got teams with legit superstar talent like the Rockets and the Warriors and the Celtics and the Cavs at this moment that are playing so well where it's like, you know, the Spurs, they're flying under the radar because they don't have that one guy that we're all looking at. LaMarcus Aldridge may as well be that guy at the moment, but he's not really getting that attention. And I guess you could say, look, it's always been like that for the Spurs. No one has ever been as captivating as a LeBron or a Durant or a Curry or a Harden or whatever, even though I think Kawhi Leonard got a ton of attention last year. LaMarcus Aldridge he's not playing in the top 3 of the MVP conversation, so you can't really say that. But I just think that this is probably the best team the Spurs have had in a few years if they can keep playing this well. If him coming back doesn't have a negative effect on someone like Aldridge, that would be a huge problem, and that would ultimately, you know, kind of set this team back to a point where, you know, they can get to the playoffs, but they don't have a number 2 guy that can really deliver like LaMarcus in the playoffs last year couldn't do it. But if LaMarcus keeps playing like the way he's playing, man, this team is going to be scary. And I like it because we have so many, like, actually right now we have so many, you know, really good teams. Like the Rockets and the Celtics are playing so well, especially the Rockets, man. I'm super hyped about the Rockets this year. They are playing insane basketball. And, you know, the Celtics, of course, they came out super strong. They just got absolutely clapped by my Chicago Bulls last night. But, you know, that's fine. I mean, they didn't have Kyrie Irving. They weren't really trying because, I mean, they were playing the Bulls. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Kawhi Leonard is back. Time to rejoice. NBA is definitely benefiting from this. This is huge news. I also can't wait until Isaiah Thomas comes back too. That's going to be big. That's going to be great. But yeah, Kawhi Leonard is back, baby. It's official. He's playing tonight. Let's see what he does. And yeah, he's probably going to be playing by the time this video's up. So let me know what you guys think. How big of an impact is Kawhi Leonard going to have on the league this year? You know, what is he going to do? Is he going to elevate the Spurs to a championship team? We'll see. What do y'all think? Subscribe if you're new. Let me know what you want me to do in a video. I did this off a suggestion, so anything's possible. Just let me know in a comment down below. Like if you enjoyed, and I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.